Hi, this is Belinda Calibriali and this is Talking High Performance with Belle. So I'm making this podcast for people who want to live their best life, people who know that there's more in them, but they just don't know how to get it. So there's a gap, something's missing, I'm making it for them. Hey, welcome back. Thanks for joining me again. And today we're going to be talking about failing forward and turning setbacks into success. And what does that mean? And I really love those two words, failing forward. Failing because we need failure in order to move us forward. And that's why I put those two words together. So there's failure that we need at different stages of our lives in order to propel us forward. And this is personally and professionally. And this could be failure in previous relationships that gets you to, the person that you're with today. It could be failure in, things at school growing up that get you to achieve those marks. It could be failure in sport. And also often it's failure in business or failure in our professional lives that lead us to where we are now. That's a lot more fulfilling. The first part I want to talk to you about today is failure and how it's the one part of success that we don't talk about enough. And I want to give you a couple of examples of some well-known individuals and how they use failure and how it was a critical part of their success. And the first one is Michael Jordan. And I watched his documentary on Netflix, maybe 1 or 2 years ago. And when he was asked why he was so great, his answer was failure. So he missed, more than 9,000 shots, and 26 times he was asked to take the game-winning shot and he missed it. And that's what made him so great. So it's his ability to refine and to be really good in those critical moments. But if he didn't have all those failures, that would have been much harder to do. The second person is Robert Kiyosaki, so the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And this is the book that changed my way of thinking financially growing up. And I love this book. And he said, sometimes we win and sometimes we learn. And I think this is where so many people make the fundamental error of going, I failed. It could be a property investment. It could be, something that they've tried to do where it hasn't gone so well or they've lost a bit of money. And so they never try anything again. Whereas, I think that's a huge mistake. I think, you go, okay, I've done these type of investments and they've worked. I tried that one. Maybe I didn't do enough research. It didn't work out so great, but it doesn't mean you're not going to try again. It means, okay, next time maybe you just need to be a little bit more careful. And, I think sometimes when things don't go to plan, we need to look at failure like an opportunity to go, okay, we failed 10, 20, 30 times, but that just means we're getting closer to what success looks like. And my daughter was doing this leadership program, and on her graduation day, she got a certificate, and the certificate was a certificate of failure. And she's got it hung, in her bedroom on her wall, and it says, this is to give you permission to fail at whatever you want to try in life. And I had to explain to her what it means. And because she'd never seen a certificate of failure, she was a little bit confused. But I just thought it's so great. And it's so great, as adults, and it's so great as kids to teach them that, sometimes you need to fail, or often you need to fail in order to get to something that's really good at the end. So nothing, really good comes easy. And we see that when we look across the board at different professions. We go, okay, there are things that have happened in that person's life to lead them to that point. And there are failures that they've had or things that haven't gone so well that's made them so great. And so I think failure is a really critical component to talk about. And, it just shows us that the opportunity to succeed is right within our grasp, the closer and the more we fail. And that's really exciting. So I want to talk about reasons why we fail. And the first reason is we lack confidence. So this is, when we talk about confidence and courage, often we're too scared to give things a go. And because we're too scared to give things a go, we don't have the confidence that we need to achieve success. And, when we lack confidence, we're hesitant to take risks. We feel overwhelmed by a lot of the challenges. And that's, something that really holds us back from reaching that next level. And that's one of the top reasons why we fail. So, it leads to missed opportunities. And it leads to us giving up too easily because we don't want to be the person that failed. Or, if we're like Michael Jordan, we don't want to be the person that's missed that many shots. Or we don't want to be the person that's missed, the penalty in the World Cup of a soccer final. So that's the first reason. The second reason is we lack information. So, if I relate it back to me when I was, maybe 10, 15 years ago, we'd done a few investment properties and one we'd never bought off the plan. And so I thought, that'd be good. We've never done that before. Let's just do that. Didn't really research it. Didn't really do anything. But we go, that just sounds fun. And well, not fun, but that sounds interesting and something different. So we bought an off-the-plan property and it lost money. And my big takeout from that was I didn't research properly. Like, we lacked the information. It wasn't a big deal. It's fine. But, I've got a good accountant who could claim it as a tax deduction. But, it's where do we lack the information, and where are there reasons why are we failing from things that we haven't done properly? So that's the second reason. So we lack information, or we haven't researched properly. Reason 3 is we haven't developed the adequate skills yet. So this is something I talk a lot about in coaching, and this is something that for myself is a really big motivator as well, is what skills do you need to reach, or what skills do you need to learn in order to do something better? So, if it's writing a book, what skills do you need to learn? Who do you need around you? If it's launching a podcast, who do you need around you? What skills do you need to develop? What's the best way that you can go in giving yourself the best chance of success? So what are the skills that you need to develop? And when we talk about skills, I look at them like they're the building blocks of success. So, when we lack the skills, or when we fail at something, it's not that we're not good at it. It's just that we haven't put the right blocks in the right order yet. And so this is a really important one. What are the skills that you need to develop in order to set yourself up for success? And developing these skills, it's not just going to happen overnight. It requires practice. It requires feedback. And it requires, really importantly, a growth mindset that we want to learn and that we want to do better. So that's number 3. Reason number 4 that I think we fail is that we're not learning from mistakes that we've made in the past. And, failure can be a really good teacher, but only if we learn from it. And this can show up so often in, relationships, how people sometimes keep dating the same type of person and it never works out. And maybe there's something that they're not learning from that relationship. And when we look at something and we're failing, we need to look at it and go, what is this teaching us? So why is this happening for me? Not why is this happening to me? And this is about reflecting on our experiences and going, okay, why do these types of relationships in this example keep coming into my life? And what do I need to learn, or what do I need to get better at in order to improve the next time? And this can be really hard, as it requires us to, take that responsibility, and requires the willingness for us to learn from our mistakes, and to learn from the actions, and learn from the patterns that maybe are playing out in our lives, and to make adjustments according to that. So that's reason number 4. And reason number 5 is we fail because we don't refine the process. So we go into something, and it could be marketing, and we go, okay, we're going to market this product and it's going to sell, 10 things. And you market the product and nothing gets sold. And we go, oh, it's a crappy product. And you just give up instead of going, okay, is the product crappy? No, the product is good. Okay, what am I doing in this area that could be better? What am I doing in this area that could be better? And keep and refining that, and just making small tweaks to reach that goal. And if you've exhausted all the avenues and people still aren't buying the product, going, okay, maybe I need to refine the product, or maybe there are things that need to change, instead of going, oh, this doesn't work, I'm going to throw out and bin that whole idea. So just working out and exhausting all the avenues. And that's all about refining the process and having the patience to do that. So they're my top 5 reasons why we fail. And so how do we set ourselves up and, give ourselves the best chance of success moving forward? And the best chance, or the best way to do this, is by adopting a growth mindset. So going, you know what, things aren't going to work all the time. In fact, most likely it's not going to work all the time, but going, okay, I'm prepared to go through those hardships. I'm prepared to fail. I'm prepared to give it another go. I'm prepared to tweak where it's needed, and learn and develop skills and be patient along the way. So adopting a growth mindset is really, really important to help us move forward. And when we look through the eyes or the lens of a high performer, high performers don't say, I don't have the skills. A high performer will go, I need to learn that skill to reach my goal, instead of just shutting it down and going, no, well, I can't do that. I'm not good at that. They'll go, I need to either learn that skill, or I need to outsource that skill to somebody who can, so that I can move forward. And when we talk about failing, sometimes there's that fear of judgment as well. A high performer will go, you know what, I'm going to be judged in anything that you do. You could be walking down the street and strange pair of shorts, and people might judge you and go, I'm going to be judged. Some people will like me, some people won't. Some people may resonate with this podcast, some people won't, and going, that's okay. I'm not for everybody and everybody's not for me. And adopting that mindset is really, really important. And it's about what I said before, about not overhauling or dismissing the whole system when something's not working. It's about refining the process and going, what are the 1%ers that I can do that's going to make this outcome a little bit better to get me closer to my goal. So not going, I need to bin this whole idea. And when we spoke before about, for example, marketing and launching a product or a course, going, what do I need to work on that's better in order to move me forward and in order to make this particular task or this particular thing a success. And only once you've exhausted all those avenues, then going, okay, maybe it's not the right product or maybe it's not the right thing to release. So that's how a top performer would look at it, and they would acknowledge that, I'm failing. Yes, it's hard. Yes, sometimes we have bad days, but I'm failing forward and it's getting me closer to my goal. And that's really important. And it's about striving again for that version of excellence in what they're trying to achieve. So they're my top tips on failing forward and turning setbacks into success, and why it's so critical in moving us forward. And, so often we look back on the most difficult parts of our journey and the parts where we know we could have done better, or the parts where even other people may have told us that we weren't enough. And I think these are the moments that shape us, and these failures are the moments that allow us to be seen and allow us to really be heard and to move forward with much more ease and with a higher level of success. So, having the courage to continue on and also the strength to thank failure time and time again is really important in moving forward. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you can be the first to know when the next episode lands. And I'll chat to you next week, where we're going to talk about skill development and how it's the catalyst in allowing us to level up. Until next time, live a successful, purposeful and fully charged life. Your coach, Belle.